Hello and welcome to the very first podcast as champions. Yeah!
Come on!
What do we do? We know what we are.
We know what we
are. Champions of England. We know what we are. Well, it's the North Bank podcast, and we are now officially champions of England. 22 long years since we could say that. It's been such a mad 24 hours. It really has. Mad 48 hours. We played 48 hours ago. We were still playing against Burnley. I mean, that feels like an age ago, a different lifetime. It really does. And we will. This podcast is less about stats and football, more about experiences, I think, and feelings over the last 48 hours. But 22 years. The banter years we had to endure. The bottlers tag we had to endure. Second again, ole ole, which I think we should sing at every away ground this next season.
Champions again, ole ole.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Joining Liverpool in becoming only the second club to win a league title in 8 different decades. Like, we are
really,
we are proper club material. We're the establishment. We were known as the establishment club, the Bank of England club, way back. But yeah, in 8 different decades, we've joined Liverpool with that one. Then we had, in this season, we had the wobble. City twice, Bournemouth. And then maybe a couple of the draws you'd throw in there. And we could all articulate why or intellectualize why this was happening with injuries and so on. And then there's the resilience, the comeback, the response to that. 6 games since we lost to City, 0 goals conceded.
That's amazing.
It's just utterly remarkable. It's like I still can't fathom it. I was so desperate not to have to go to Palace needing a win. It was a real physical pain. It wasn't emotional. It was physical, because I'm not sure I could have lived through it not
another
happening.
Burnley. Yeah, well, imagine another.
Not even that.
Tension.
Ultimately, but just falling short. But look, we're here. We've been walking on air because we haven't been walking after much sleep. I mean, TikTok's numbers must have gone through the roof around this area, because I've been constantly scrolling TikTok for fan videos and so on. But anyway, how's your day been?
Oh God, you first. I mean, hard.
Yeah, difficult, because I mean, look, it's a long way for me to go for the game. So knowing it was the last home game, I forced myself to go on Monday night to watch the Burnley game. Got back about 1 o'clock, still kind of buzzing off that. So I was up for another hour. So I got to bed about 2, maybe 4 hours sleep. And then I thought, okay, well, that's fine, because I'll get through work and I'll do what I need to do and then just kind of chill out. And then it only really, after I ate my tea, it only then dawned on me that it's like, oh no, if City do drop points, I don't know why, but in my, when I'm just so focused on other things and I'm so tired, it just sort of dawned on me as like, no, I better watch this one, because I was going to avoid the City game because I just didn't want to do it to myself. But I was like, well, I have to watch, and I sort of did, and then it just exploded, and another 4 hours ish sleep night where I've then gone through work today. Gone to school, I've got my Arsenal tie on, I've got my scarf, I've got my jacket. The kids at school were so put out. It was like, Sir's happy, and he's wearing bright colours. What's going on with him? I was like, 22 years! You don't know what it's been like. You weren't born. You don't know what it's like. So buzzing. I'm slowly just winding down now and ready for a good night's kip.
Chris, what's your story of the last 48 hours?
Well, the last 48 hours, okay. Burnley, the tension, the relief, really don't want to go too deeply into that because, like you said, it feels like it was ages ago now, and not insignificant, but pales into insignificance compared to last night. I think it's worth mapping out a sort of chronology because I didn't realise that you, Holly, were going to be getting on the train and going to the ground, and that was when I had my kind of fuck it moment.
I'd planned it.
Right, well, good for you. But I was at home thinking, what if we do this? And when I knew it was 1-0, I was sort of pacing around in the kitchen, and I live in a house where people not really bothered with football. And I'm thinking, if we do it, I can't just be here with the dog and the girl. So I thought, and I had my fuck it moment then, pardon my French, but I just thought, right. And there's a mate of mine up the road, and I texted him, I'm going up there now. And the game was still a good 20 minutes left. And he said, I'm coming too, but I'm waiting until the final whistle. And I said, I'm going now. I've just got to go. So I got in the car and I'm going, and you know where my main road is, Holly, it leads up to the A1.
Yeah.
And as soon as I hit the A1 around Highgate, the cars started sounding their horns. And then next to me was a guy with colours, and I had my colours on, and he's giving it this faces at me, and I'm giving it back, way faces. And we're kind of doing that thing of going, no, after you, as we're kind of inching down the A1, giving it these kind of faces to each other. And then the Bournemouth, and then City equalised, and the faces dropped, in the cars. We're sort of looking at each other with a kind of tension after that. And then, I hate listening to radio broadcasts, and you just don't know what's happening. And all I could hear is, Marmouche and Chucky, and it sounded like the Alamo siege on the Bournemouth goal. And then the final whistle, and my God, what an explosion. And then from that point on, it was like fever pitch, just this kind of slow bleeding of noises as I'm approaching the Holloway Road, of just people bursting into the streets, out of pubs, this explosion of colour as well, just red and white everywhere. And I got there relatively early to the ground, and I had my kind of pick of places, and I was just by the Armoury. And after about 20 minutes, I guess there were a few thousand people there, and one of whom was Ian Wright. I turned around and literally bumped into him.
Amazing.
Oh, there you are. And then as soon as I saw him, other people saw him as well. Woof, all the mobiles are out. Everyone's wanting their piece of Ian, and he was just lovely, very gracious.
Do you think he was watching it in the ground?
Possibly, although there was a little clip of him doing the rounds in the Tolly.
That was afterwards. It was empty though, wasn't it? It looked empty at that point.
Yeah, I wonder what went on there, whether they had a little private...
Well, I don't know. The police, first thing the police do in situations like this, because I remember it from before, is they get the pubs to close.
Okay. Well, the offies weren't. That was pretty...
No, they didn't. I noticed that. They left the offies open, doing a roaring trade they were.
Yeah. And the other thing, and I mentioned it briefly yesterday in the little instant reaction, was there's just the young people in a daze because they'd never seen it before, and that's when you really appreciate it, isn't it? Old man like me. I've seen it before, but it just felt different this time because of the way people were reacting around me. And some of it is performative because they're filming it all and it's all about content creation and whatever. But there was also
it was
genuine...
organic. I thought it was organic.
No, there was as well. I'm just saying there was part of it was kind of, let's do this for TikTok. But other times it was just people hugging me, that I had obviously didn't know them, and you're having conversations with people, and just wonderful.
There was one guy on the television. He screamed and say, "Last time we won the league, I wasn't even fertilised.
Yes.
Now I'm 21. It's the best night of my life." And what I loved about it as well, it was reflective of North London.
Yeah, very much.
Every colour and creed was represented. It was just like...
Yep. And ages as well.
Yeah. Oh, there were someone pushing a pram, like...
Men, women, children,
in the tunnel,
the elderly.
Yeah. My 75-year-old neighbour up the road, he was there.
Brilliant.
So it was that. So I'd been a little bit more strategic in my planning. I'd binned off my tutoring for the last 2 hours. So I thought, well, I'm going to get me and my daughter to go to one of the pubs where we are. The only pub I know that is quite a small place, but the only pub I know that's got like several screens up and we'll watch the football. But I'm terrible at watching Like I went for a long walk for the Man City Everton game, for example. So I delayed here a little bit and make sure we got into the pub at about 10 to 8. And I said to my daughter as we were approaching the pub, you know what's going to happen, don't you? The second we walk in, City will score. Well, actually, the second we walked in, Bournemouth scored. Like it was like, so this is striking a little bit different. Took our place at the bar, and because it's local and I've lived and worked in the area for like 15 years, there were several ex-students that I used to teach also in there. The Man City game was on one screen. Chelsea Spurs was on all the other screens. But there were a couple of them, and they came over and had a chat. And this was brilliant because this was a wonderful, welcome distraction from the game itself. And as long as I couldn't see the City screen, but as long as there was no cheering or oohing and awing, I was okay. And so the plan was 65 minutes. Let's start the slow walk to the station. And wait outside the station for the final whistle. And if City have dropped points, let's jump on the train. We'll be in Finchley Park in 15 minutes. So we got to the station at about 90-minute mark. And the two station workers were listening to they'll watch a little monitor, and the game was on the monitor. And so I obviously interacted. And within like 2 seconds, they said, come round. So ended up watching the last 5 minutes with the two station workers at the station. The Haaland goal was, I'm like, no. I'd noticed on the bookies it was 45-1 before the Haaland goal for City to win, and I was tempted. But as soon as the final whistle, there were loads of Arsenal fans already there on the platform. They all listening to their own or watching their own devices, kind of in unison, the kind of the outpouring of relief and disbelief that it's actually arrived. This thing we've been waiting for. What did we say? 150 game title run. This has been.
It's been a 4-year title.
Title chase. Yeah. And this was it. And it's like people just run. One bloke older than me considerably was just running up and down the ramp, taking you onto the platform, which is quite like just with his arms in the air, like just running up and down. Like he didn't know how to process this event, this thing. Got the train into Finsbury Park, and then the walk from Finsbury Park and it was fever pitch. I think I commented on that. I said it in the instant reaction. It was just fever pitch. And then we eventually got to the top of the stairs at the Armoury on the right hand side, but we weren't getting any further. So I just thought, right, let's eke our way down there a little bit, so we've got steps so we can see over people's heads. And then it was just like the jubilation, the joy, the outpouring of love and happiness, and everyone smiling, and you're reminded of that kind of the all the good in human nature, because there wasn't that many people in such a confined space, and you never felt more belonging and safe than you did there. And there were all ages. There were, kids in pushchairs, in prams even. It was just a thing of beauty to experience. And then there were like guys, in occasions like this, you realise why the male life expectancy is a little bit less than females, because these blokes are climbing these lamps there, and there was one guy doing pull-ups about 20 foot in the air on a little. I'm like, what is he doing? And the fireworks display, it's like
flares.
No, there's proper fireworks.
Yeah,
as
there
well.
were, and flares. Yeah.
Oh, it was just. It was like I was just there, open mouthed, just soaking it all in. Just it's like I can't. It's incredible, and I just suddenly realised we are massive. This was an impromptu gathering on a Tuesday night. Arsenal hadn't even been playing, and it was. I know Fever Pitch romanticised it and Hollywoodified it, but this was better and bigger.
The estimates were about 100,000 people,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I think about 25 people turned up for the Man City title parade last year, 2 years ago,
And that was the parade with the
that was
team
the parade.
actually present.
You wait till even if we don't win the Champions League, which I think we've got more of a chance now than before. I just think we'd be more relaxed about it. There's so many things that the players in London, I'm delighted. Of course, they got together, and I'm glad they all kept it quiet. And really interestingly, and I think this is, I will now defend Arteta with my dying breath in the way that I used to with Arsene Wenger. Where was Arteta in those celebrations?
Nowhere.
At home with his family.
Yeah.
It wasn't about him. No. It was about the players. And I thought that is a real
classy, isn't it?
How many other managers would do that?
There is. Bukayo Saka posted a photo on his Instagram though, because a few of the players went out, and famously now, as it's done the rounds online, Timber, Eze, Rice, and Saka were videoed at the Arsenal stadium at 5 a.m. And then since then, today at some point, Bukayo Saka has posted a picture because they went to a gathering. It looks like a club. I don't know. I don't really know. Arteta's there. I don't know. I mean, it's on Bukayo Saka's Instagram.
Well, he might have joined up with them.
Far be it for me to question the veracity of it, but I don't know. It just.
Well, he's not in any of the celebratory shots, so he wasn't. He was making it about the players then, and he said he was going to watch it at home with his family, and he's mentioned that a couple of times recently about the sacrifice they make, and giving something back to them, like being present with them, because it's their celebration and their victory as much as it is his, because without his family, he's not doing that. He's not doing what he's doing with that support.
I mean, just on a personal level, I don't, here I go making it about me, but I've felt a similar kind of thing. I've been surprised at how many people have enjoyed my enjoyment of it. I've had, family members, friends, some of whom I haven't heard from for a while, because they know how happy I'll be. So they're like, there you go, mate, well done. Brilliant. No, it's brilliant. My phone's just been like on a constant for basically 24 hours. And I love that because I suppose, we wear our hearts on our sleeves and our obsession is clear for all to see. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. But I just like the fact that other people kind of like, took heart from it. Yeah.
Well, when they think of Arsenal, they think of you.
Probably,
I had a message. Shout out to Gordon Schoffel from Australia. Was a housemate of mine 30-something years ago. First message on Facebook this morning when I clocked in was a congratulations from him, and I know from previous messages, like he does listen. If he is listening or watching, cheers, fella.
Can I just say as well on the celebrations, because afterwards when I was soaking it all up at like 2 a.m, watching loads of reels from around the world of Arsenal groups celebrating in far-flung places. You mentioned how big we are as a club, not just evidenced by the 100,000 that turned up to North London, but around the world. And, it's that thing of that cliche that you don't have to be there to be a dedicated supporter. For those guys that are listening to this around the world, hopefully, know that you are as important as us going along to Highbury. If you're jumping up and down on your sofa in Australia, it's as valid.
I would argue it's even
more.
So. It's more the commitment levels we know from various conversations we've had with our members and people that have interacted with us. The level of commitment, like getting up at 4 o'clock to watch an Arsenal game, like that. It's another level. Shout out to Liam. He flies over from Dublin for pretty much every home game as well. I mean, that's a level of commitment as well. And when the fixtures can be shunted around at short notice as well, that's not always easy when you have to sacrifice work, and work means the dollar and so on. Did you see the footage of Berta being crowd surfing at the start? Like, it is just, you don't know where to start or end with your kind of did you see that? What about that one? Oh my god, have you seen this one? The memes doing the rounds. The memes. The bottle guy.
And endless. I mean, the fuel they've given us over the last, not just this season, but over the last few seasons, the fuel that we can now put back.
Oh, the receipts. Receipts.
Well, I mean, that's it. From rival fans, you ask them, it's just like, oh, so why do you hate Arsenal? Oh, it's because the fans are insufferable. You ain't seen
Yeah.
nothing yet.
You've
got a year of this.
Did someone label us online, an Arsenal fan, saying we should be called the Insufferables now?
Too right. There you go.
Who
I'll
cares?
put that on a T-shirt. The Insufferable.
Fine.
Yeah. No, I'm no, absolutely. I spoke at the school pickup today. So the school drop off this morning, I just put the Arsenal scarf on, and a couple of there were no non-Arsenal supporting people that I was aware of were there. Nobody really commented much except one bloke in the van driving past, and excuse my language now. He just rolled down the window. He went, "Fuck off, Arsenal," and I just went, "Yeah!" And he was just, "Oh." But then the school pickup, I spoke to. It was the most social. This is maybe a bit odd coming from someone who's instigated a bloody podcast. I don't really like people much, and so I don't talk to that many people. There's a couple of parents and that's fine. That's great. That suits me. And there's one or two known Arsenal fans, and I'll engage and interact with those. A little chat, a little like, "Oh, that was a nervy one," or "God blimey, I can't live through that again." Look, these little comments throughout the season. But at school pickup, I didn't have any colours on, but I walked up to who were complete strangers up until this point, but I knew there were other parents at the school wearing Arsenal tops, hugging them, high-fiving them, fist pumps in the air, like, "Yeah, we've done it. I'm going to have more conversations than I care to now from this point forward, I think. But it was, it's amazing. I mean, I just, like, to have experienced that as well. Like, my daughter's 20, and I'd say this season has been the season that she's got it. Like, I've never pushed football on my kids. I won't do it. It's like if they gravitate towards it, all good and well. My only rule is, if you like football, you're an Arsenal fan. Okay, I don't mind whether you like football or not. But if you like football, you're an Arsenal, or you're homeless. It's simple. It's a simple choice. It's not. It's a non-negotiable.
Daddy, I'm only 5.
I couldn't care less. You're an Arsenal fan. But it was a blessing and a privilege to be able to share that experience last night with her. Just standing at those steps, and I'm saying this is insane. Look at this. We haven't even played a game of football tonight. There's no reason. And look at the crowds. They're vast, and the celebration, and everyone in the same place. It was just a thing of beauty last night. And you look ahead to, well, I mean, can you imagine? So the parade is on the 31st of May, which is Sunday, and the news that came out today was that they've extended the distance or the length of the route, because they must have looked at last night and thought, "Oh, bugger."
Yeah. Can't condense them into that short space. No.
They haven't released more details, but I'm still pretty confident that it will end at the town hall, not the stadium. But they might, you know what? Like, I think, is it Madrid? After they end it in the stadium, so they get people to pile into the stadium, and then they'll do that thing there. So that's what I've not heard that from anywhere, but I know that I've seen that, like, Barcelona and Madrid have done things like that as well, when bringing back the Champions League or something like that. But traditionally, isn't in Town Hall where it ends.
Yeah.
But 5 miles. But then I was thinking, like, we need to stretch this out because, you know, forget about North London. London is going to come to a standstill on the 31st of May.
And there'll be more than a stadium's full load of people turning up.
Several stadiums.
There was more than the Emirates capacity last night.
No, absolutely. And but that's as it is now. Can you imagine if we were to add the Champions League to that?
Oh no, stop it.
I mean, it's like...
Too early. My T-shirt says too early again.
I am more confident now than I was before last night.
Save that.
Let's just enjoy this.
I am.
And move on to that.
This is enjoying the journey. Yeah. Why can't I enjoy looking forward to winning the Champions League? How often have we been in the final?
Because the journey has taken us to this point, and we've just pulled the handbrake up and we're looking around and saying, isn't the scenery nice? Before we then get back in the car.
This is a lay-by.
Torture this metaphor even more.
Exactly.
having a picnic on the roundabout type thing. At the Ash.
Is it Bear Roundabout? That's fine.
With a little roundabout in front of the Armoury. You know that little
that's
one
the
with
Bear
Roundabout,
Roundabout.
yeah.
Bear
Thank you.
Roundabout.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just acknowledge as well that Max Dowman is now the youngest ever Premier League winner by 18 bloody months as well, not just. And he's got to sit his English language paper 1 tomorrow morning.
Good luck, all the students who.
Did anyone see him in the pictures? I didn't.
No.
He was at home revising. Poor sod.
Probably.
Imagine being his careers teacher.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah, look, you need to concentrate on your schoolwork just in case football doesn't work out.
What about
for you.
Plan B? Maybe a Plan B.
Selling insurance.
Oh God.
I love it. I love it.
And the other thing I saw somewhere was that we also need to, Steph, you put lots of great questions that we could consider for today's pod, but to be honest with you, I couldn't even consider. We'll do a much more detailed couple of pods, probably looking back at the season as a whole and the culmination of the season, because it's been a pretty torturous, arduous journey with plenty to unpick and unravel. But as I've always said, it's all about the destination.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Oh, come on, I have.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we need to acknowledge is an honorary shout out to Thomas Frank, the silver member, because he took 5 points off City and gave us 6.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And Steph, you talked about moments in the season, and I just cannot avoid it. I bet neither of you will guess the moment I go back to in the season. You won't. It's not an obvious one. Not pivotal, but a moment that just sticks in my mind as being like, and now because we've won the league, I'm thinking, what a twat. About my reaction. It was my reaction to a goal. Steph, you might have an inkling because you were obviously there. I had a very...
The Martinelli one.
Yes.
Against City.
Yes.
Yeah, we were both a bit annoyed. Yeah.
Turned out to be quite important, that, didn't it?
It did turn out to be quite important. Why were we annoyed again?
Because of the way we played.
Yes, absolutely, and just kind of let them sort of dictate and
they were there for the taking.
Yeah,
they were, and we just didn't do it. And yeah, we got a draw. Yeah, but it should have been a win. Like I'm like,
yeah, where was that kind of thing?
That's a is it a 3-point swing? I can't do my maths now.
But fine.
2 points away from them, 1 to us.
What a goal as well.
Eze, yeah, brilliant. And Eze's first real meaningful contribution, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a bit of a spoiler, but I mentioned it yesterday again in text on the instant reaction, because for me it was a pivotal moment, and that's Rice's "It's Not Done," because that was that crystallised in me his leadership and his mentality monster, if you want to call it that, attitude that has driven us through, this mini league of 5 games that Arteta referenced. That was for me the catalyst of, right, when we're going to roll our sleeves up and get stuck in now, and we're not going away.
And you saw his tweet then?
Yeah.
It's done. He basically copied me.
It's done.
It's done. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean, like the other this is a more statistical one, maybe not for this pod, but it's the only one I've written down really. I didn't realise this, so it's why it kind of stood out a little bit. We've won the league, okay? That's brilliant.
Great stat.
That's amazing.
Love that stat.
No, that's it. Yeah, end of pods. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Join us for the Champions League winners pod in like 9 days' time. How many points do you think we got home against the current top 6, the other top 6?
Not many.
So 5 games against the current top 6.
Drew against City, that's 1. We lost to Man United, so 0. We beat Villa 4-1.
No, we beat United away.
No, he's at home.
Home.
Oh,
home.
at home.
Just home.
So 5 games. We beat Villa,
so that's 4. Who's next? Liverpool, draw. So that's 6 points. I'm at 5 points. 5 points. Is that it? And that's it. 5
points out of 15.
Bournemouth we lost because it's Bournemouth after that.
Yep. So So we got 5 points out of 15 at home.
Flat track bullies.
So we could. There's a lot of improvement.
What? Nice.
See? That's where I'm going with this. Lots of improvement to make.
Very good. Yeah, imagine this when we play really well.
This is the start. Those players, it's not like, we don't have to sell players to fund the stadium. We are not looking to, none of our players will be agitating for a move. We will only sell players this summer who we want to sell. I can't see any player.
Norgard.
Yeah, no, I think there'll be players that we will miss that will be sold, like Martinelli, as in miss emotionally, personally, like we'll miss, not in terms of, like, I think Martinelli is a candidate for going, but I don't want to go into... It'd be interesting. I wonder how Penny for his thoughts at the moment, but he gets a medal.
Good.
Yeah.
So he's a Premier League winner now. I've got to add another 50 million to his price tag, but my point is it's we are the destination club now. I think accounts are going to come out quite soon that will portray us or reveal us to be the richest club in world football terms of...
Given the way I've seen people buying the special edition Champions shirt of the new home shirt, I mean, yeah, we're going to be comfortably richest, I think.
So players will only want to come to us. Players won't want to be leaving us for now. If we were to add the Champions League to that as well, I mean, but you add, and I don't want to diminish our achievements in any sense, but we've been basically like a boxer with one hand tied behind his back in terms of the attack being unavailable or not firing, like unavailable or not, or kind of playing playing through injury, like Saka has done probably a lot of the season. I mean, I've got two players in mind. Of course, they're the dream ticket. But wasn't it funny that Krupi scored the goal yesterday when he's the one linked with... His celebration makes me a bit nervous, though.
Yeah, I don't like players doing somersaults.
Largely because I would end up in A&E if I attempted it.
Can I just talk... You said an interesting point there about, us as a destination club, and obviously if we win the Champions League. It does take me back to 2006 because... with the stadium move, it was so on the cusp, and you think about that sliding door moment of the players that then left, and the way it all sort of ended with our Champions League final defeat to Barcelona. Would the purse strings have been so tightly held had we won the European Cup? Because it would have elevated us so much in terms of those. I always think about just how things might have been different, and those early years at the Emirates. And look, it's a time to celebrate the glory of today, but you wonder if this season could have been that similar turning point. These players, most of them anyway, who have been there for two or 3 years, definitely. If they hadn't done it, could they have gone to the well again for Arteta?
No, yeah, absolutely.
I just don't know if it could have been. Whereas
think
now,
of how you feel as a fan.
Exactly. Whereas now, rejuvenation. It's like re-impetus. And these are players that are of an age. Most of them are on good contracts with the club now. The stability around Arsenal is just incredible. And I said this after the Burnley game, and before we'd even won the title, that, with Arteta's words and the way the crowd stayed and the banners that were being sort of shown, a club united, a club as one, all pulling in the same direction, no division, no dissenting voices, apart from on the very extreme end of idiots. But it really felt like a good place to be. And then to the next 24 hours just went stratospheric. It was brilliant, and I'm so glad it's done, because, like you say, this could be the beginning. Let's hope it is. Yeah.
It is, and the other thing, I want to reference something Declan Rice said last week, so before, maybe after, sorry, I said last week, like 2 days ago.
After Burnley.
After Burnley, yeah.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, and I think, and this is going to sound, I don't know, like self-indulgent perhaps a little bit, But as a fan base, I think the way we've responded since that Manchester City defeat has been phenomenal. I think that we have had a bigger part in this success since then than any previous success we've had as a fan base. That our role, and I point to, one thing I'll point to in particular is it was estimated that twice as many people turned up for the welcoming the team bus, greeting the team bus for the Burnley game than did for the Atletico Madrid game.
No
right?
way.
Yeah. Estimated that twice as many turned up, and the number, looking at it, you could see, and Declan Rice referenced the fans, and he said he the way he spoke after the Burnley game, it wasn't like it was just I don't know where I saw this. The way he came across was like he was in awe of the fan base. He said, never seen anything like it, has never felt like, and this is like Declan Rice, who is West Ham.
And England.
You know, he owes everything to West Ham. Well, he used to be Ireland, but anyway. He owes everything to West Ham. He says this himself. He said, there is no Declan Rice without West Ham. And so I believe he's got a really deep, profound connection to that club, and I like that club as well. I can understand it. I think it's
I really hope they
club.
get the results they want this weekend.
For lots of reasons. Well, 2 reasons. Them and Spurs.
Always like bubbles, me.
But the way he spoke about the fan base, and I think that is an insight into how the players have felt. And if you're looking for that additional little spur as a player, that little nudge or push, that the fine margins, that extra % like, no, try that little, keep going in those games, because okay, we've won 6 games, 5 of them have been by a single goal. I think that is, or 4, I can't remember now, but you know, we've had 3 1-0s in the Premier League. That takes, okay, I know Burnley didn't lay a glove on us, but that was still a difficult last 10-15 minutes, because your concentration has to be 100%. You cannot afford a lapse at all, knowing that 1 lapse is the title gone. That's a hell of a lot of pressure to be playing under in front of your home crowd as well. But I really think that that as a fan base, so a bit self-indulgent, that I think, you know, talk about the Anfield's atmosphere for a European night. And I think bizarrely, and this is like, I feel like I've got imposter syndrome talking about my club like this, that as a fan base, we are becoming the 12th man, that, you know, that this mythical 12th man, character, creature, effect, impact thing. And so I think that, like, I'm not expecting, or nor do I want, a greet the team for the first home league game next season, or for, you know, but it should creep in to and become part of our kind of culture, fan culture, or cultural fan kind of point, if you like. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It certainly felt it over the last few weeks. And as stressful as I found all these narrow 1-goal victories, it sort of makes you think about, you know, defensively, after the City game, after the Bournemouth game, to then basically lock down, get some clean sheets, Golden Glove, and for the 3rd season in a row for David Raya. You know, we're talking about the likes of Gabriel, Saliba, Rice, all in that conversation of players of the season, because that's where our superpower lies. Every title-winning team has some kind of superpower. Last year, Liverpool had Mo Salah.
Okay, let me ask you.
Go on.
Liverpool won the league under Klopp the first time. Why did they do that?
Name
the two players they signed. Yeah, Van Dijk and Alisson. They signed those 2 players.
Yeah.
That summer.
And it's those kind of transformative sort of players. And then you're reminded of Kante for Leicester, and then Chelsea as well. You know, he was their golden egg in that team. I know Vardy had all the scoring records, but I just think you need someone, and Rice is that for us to a certain extent. But the collective, the defensive strength, the superpower that we have, all the clean sheets that we've got this year, you know, all right, you know, Chelsea, that the Mourinho side had that definitely, and with all the low number of goals that they've conceded, the record that they will host, for a long time, I'm sure. But we're not far off that, and that's our superpower. We know the attack has been a bit disjointed for a variety of reasons. So it'd be great if we could get that going as well, because then who knows what will happen.
Because we don't need to sacrifice or compromise rather the defensive unit.
No, not at all.
We can get players that can just drop into two positions in particular, perhaps. And
well, on that, you said about the connection with the fans. I think there's a player that bridges it and had an impact in this run of games, and that's Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Yeah,
because he's a fan. Boyhood Arsenal fan, joined the club at 9, worked his way through, and then Arteta's been talking more about following his instincts and his gut, and he said something told him, Fulham, go on Miles, Zubamendi's tired, other things will factor into it, take your chance, and he took it.
An hour before kickoff.
Probably, as like we said at the time, it's probably so he doesn't overthink it. Go out there, be yourself, play your natural game, and you'll link it. And he's an exciting player to watch in midfield because he's anticipating, cutting the ball out. He's taking the ball past people. And that spurred on this run. Yes, it got a bit nervier, but ultimately it's been enough, and it's been brilliant to watch.
It does give the lie to the idea that Arteta is complete control freak, doesn't it? That he doesn't allow the players to play. And maybe sometimes it is the players that are playing within themselves, or they're more inhibited because of them, not because of instruction, perhaps. I don't know.
Can I ask a question of you, Holly? How do you feel about Gabriel Heinze now?
Yeah. I mean, I still don't like his background because I didn't like him as a player.
I'm not sure on some of his mannerisms, He was really grumpy with Gunnosaurus when they did the lap of appreciation.
Was he?
He didn't seem to relax. I don't think he's got any chill, and I don't know how I feel about that.
The history there is that he was like Arteta's big brother at PSG, wasn't it? That was that kind of background. So obviously there's a very close connection there. And fair play to Arteta, because one of the things we observed about Arteta in the first 2 or 3 years was that he surrounded himself with a very young staff, maybe not confident enough to question his authority, like perhaps that kind of stuff. Heinz is not that. You can tell. If Heinz has got a thought, he'll share it. And so fair play, because Ferguson used to do that. He would replace his number 2 and be forced to reinvent his team again.
Fresh ideas.
And that works. That's why Ferguson takes the mantle over Wenger for me in terms of greatest Premier League manager. Pep Guardiola doesn't come close to it for me because it's
asterisk.
Put Pep, big time. I mean, double asterisk is even more than that. People having the temerity to suggest that our league title now has got an asterisk because of the way we played football. Do one. Man City have the biggest asterisk of all, but Pep as well, because and I know this is like a bit redundant perhaps, but he's only look at the clubs he's been successful at.
Big.
Like, he's been supported. Like, they've been the biggest club in that country with the biggest wage bill, the biggest transfer bill. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, fine, yeah. Look, you've within that structure, you've performed very well, of course, but. So hindsight, yeah. I mean, so fair play to Arteta for getting him on board. And are we better defensively this year than the last 2 years? I mean, statistically, we probably are. We've lost a bit in attack, but league title, you can't. I can't.
I know we're not doing stats, but I heard one earlier. So credit to Adrian Clark on the Handbrake Off podcast, and he's got his own YouTube channel with some brilliant insight. Great ex-player and Arsenal fan. Arsenal's expected goals against, so what we've sort of conceded for the season is at something, I think he said 27, 28, which is about what we've conceded anyway.
26 we've conceded,
yeah. There you go, okay. The nearest club next is Man City, 42.
Wow.
That's our superpower.
People can't score against us. We choke the game.
Tough. That's how you win. That's how we won.
And so we can retain that whilst adding
and augment the front line. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing as well, and I love my soft factors aside from the stats, is that everyone, what unifies them now is that they're all winners. They'll all grow that extra half an inch, when they walk onto a pitch and carry that with them, young and old. Right? It gels them as a collective.
That
as well
links
as individually.
to something I've just written down. Declan Rice aside, have we bought superstars?
Not superstars, although when you said that, Chris, about they are all winners together now, yes, absolutely. But albeit to a lesser extent, and they're not superstars for that reason, but obviously Nketiah won in Germany. Gyökeres won in Portugal.
But what about the 4 players you've referenced as the foundation of in the shout for Player of the Year? David Raya on loan from Brentford to begin with.
Not a superstar, no.
Saliba didn't play for 3 years after we signed him as a
17-year-old as well, wasn't he? Like, he was a prospect, really.
I don't think Gabriel's signing was met with great fanfare.
From Lille?
Exactly. And so that's what I mean. Like, even I'd never heard of Calafiori. I had heard of Timber a little bit, but not much. Couldn't tell you much about him. Dutch League, not that impressed by players from Dutch League necessarily. And so there's about Nketiah. Yes, had been as an invincible from Germany, and you need that character, and he's been brilliant. Like he's earned his song. Ødegaard, obviously, Ødegaard was a fallen, not a falling, but a fallen star when we picked him up. We didn't have much competition for his signature. We did want him. We did want him after his loan spell. We definitely wanted him. Who else have we got? So there's the homegrown kids. Yeah, Gyökeres was probably behind Declan Rice. I might be missing someone. Havertz, think about that. Madueke, think about that. Trossard was the pivot after Mudryk didn't come. Who have we got? So Gyökeres probably is behind Declan Rice. Gyökeres might be the next one.
Highest profile, Gyökeres, easy, yeah.
So we've done it in a similar way to Liverpool doing it, like signing Sadio Mane from Southampton and Van Dijk.
There's some lovely echoes. It just made me think about late Graham, early Wenger Arsenal, where the back 4, you look at where they came from. They cost about 50 quid, didn't they? Stoke, Wimbledon. Where was Keown from? He came to us, then he went to Villa and Everton.
No, he went to Everton. We got him back from Everton.
Yeah, but the point is, they weren't stars in any way. That we made them stars. Thierry Henry was a winger kicking around
slightly out of
at Juve. Dennis Bergkamp.
Patrick Vieira said the same thing about, was it Milan he was at?
Yep, underused. So lovely parallels.
Yeah, as you said, augment that with a couple of shiny new toys in attack.
And I just love the fact that we've done it with some youth players as well. I mean, I've mentioned Lewis Skelly, but I just want to mention Bukayo Saka because, and I posted this out on our a TikTok video that he tweeted in 2020 after we'd had the disappointment. I can't remember what competition it was, but he tweeted out basically, you deserve better to the Arsenal
Was
fans.
that Gabriel or Saka?
No, Saka.
It was Saka.
Yeah, it was Saka. And, boy, he's the one constant, I think, through this whole project. He's him and Martinelli are the only players I can think of that Arteta inherited. And, they're shining lights in terms of the standards he expects, in terms of the off-the-ball work, in terms of the commitment, but also that little sprinkling of, the skills that they bring as well. And I love Bukayo Saka.
So you said about the youth, the Hale End core, but there's also an England core as well. There's quite a few England players. If you just like Ben White, again he came to the fore. Shame, real big shame about his injury again. Lewis Skelly, you said Saka, Rice, Dowman, but also Ranieri as well. Have I left an English player out?
Not that I can think of.
I think so.
So I mean that's 6 regular players, and Ranieri not, but he was. He kind of shifted him out on loan, but and that's quite that's Arteta doing that. It's not. What is it? He used to get some grief that he didn't trust the Haaland players, was it? Or
he didn't trust youth players.
He didn't trust youth players. Okay.
But at the same time, it's one of those things. It's like he probably didn't trust the youth players because he wasn't quite happy with the system they were coming into. Whereas now, go on, Lewis Skelly, go. I know everything else around you is perfect, so you can thrive. He's got the foundations there. And it is very much his team. Because there was always that thing about Wenger when he took over that obviously he inherited the back four because it was just so good. And then he did augment the attack when, the midfield, Vieira, what a signing and all those sorts of things. But Arteta's rebuilt this from the ground up. This is so his team.
What I might be misremembering this. Was our last game before Arteta came to us, home to Man City? And they beat us, and then he was on the bench and wouldn't celebrate the goal, and the fan base was pretty toxic. I think he referenced that. It was either it was either the game before or very, very
it was close
soon
to
after.
Yeah.
And he referenced that atmosphere that he saw there. Can you, it's day and night.
It's unreal
Compared to, what we see before us now. And I want to say this as well. A United mate of mine, he messaged me, congratulations, all that stuff. He doesn't want to see us win the league, but he's happy for me. As that's fine. That's great.
The glow, isn't it?
That's what football's about. I'm happy for, I want Spurs to get relegated, but there's 2 or 3 people close to me for whom I'd be really happy for if Spurs don't get relegated, because I can separate the tribalism with the person, with the human aspect of it. But so this United mate messaged me. He said, I think it was this morning or late last night this morning, he said, City fans must be looking on with complete envy at your fans last night because they just don't have it.
No.
Where 100,000 fans descend on a stadium when we haven't even played a game of football. Yeah, we won the league. And so even when City were winning their first trophies under their ownership, it just wasn't the same. And again, that we've won the league in 8 decades, joining Liverpool with that accolade. We're a proper club, and it's nice to be back again.
Can I just point out, Tony Adams won the league in 3 of those decades.
Yeah.
Louise.
And he was drunk for half of them.
Okay. Yeah, so people keep telling him he won. But tell me, how's your history knowledge, Arsenal history knowledge? What was the first year we won the league? Was it the 1930s or was it the 1920s?
I thought 30.
I think 30s, but I know we won something in 20-something, but I can't remember.
We won an FA Cup in 27 against Cardiff.
Oh,
right.
You're good.
1-0.
So I think it was the 30s. Herbert Chapman in the 30s.
Yeah, 3 in a row.
3 in a row, yeah. So what decade haven't we won? That's 8 decades.
40s?
So I can't.
I
So
think
50s we
40s.
definitely won.
Well, the war was on, so
but
half.
70. So we didn't win anything in. I don't know what you call them. The teens. We didn't win the league title in the teens, 2000 and teens, whatever they are called. So we did obviously in the noughties, and we have done now in the 20s.
And we did
Obviously
in the
did in the 90s. 89 we did. 71 we did. I think the 60s must be the other
60s
gap.
is
then.
the barren one. Yeah, 50s we did. George
'cause
Allison.
60s and 40s.
We lost the 1927 FA Cup final. I just looked it up. Cardiff won it.
Sorry, nobody that was there is listening.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So only 2 decades have we failed to win the league title. I don't know. It's pretty good. I know you say that, but then we've only won 14 league titles.
Yeah. Oh, the song has to change. It used to be 13 league titles. You've only won 2. We sung at Tottenham. It's now 14. At least it scans.
It still
It
fits.
scans,
Yeah,
It scans. It's all right. The English teacher poet in me is okay with that.
Excellent. So look. We will we'll do it. We'll record another pod on Friday, looking ahead to the Palace game, and I don't know why, but anyway,
because
we
the
will.
team selection is going to be epic.
Yeah, we should offer a prize for anybody who can guess the starting 11 at Palace.
When 4 of the players are getting in at 5 a.m.
And how relieved must Glasner be? He was coming under so much pressure to play his strongest team. Now he can rest all his big players because they're, they got their big game on the Wednesday, 3 days later. So, yeah, if you want to submit your starting 11 suggestions, folks, we'll have a good laugh at them. Gunnosaurus is not eligible, just for the record. Get that out there straight away.
Norgard's still on the bench.
Oh, poor thing. No.
So, but subsequent to that, I think nice little bridge between the closing of the league campaign and the Champions League final is if we do a podcast where we do look back in a lot more detail at the season, but like a vibes look back at the season, not a data-driven look back at the season. There will obviously be some stats in there.
We'll just look back at the league.
Yeah. And like kind of key moments you thought it was gone, moments you just wanted to walk away and think, I've had enough, I cannot cope with this anymore, and moments where you started to believe, where you thought, what was that?
Yeah.
Who was it? Andrew Allen or Tim? What's his name?
Stillman.
Tim Stillman said, "Is it now time to start looking at thinking about what we could win, not what we could lose, not fearing what we could lose." Was that the Fulham game? That must have been the Fulham game.
Fulham,
Yeah, I think it feels like that was the Fulham game, which was the Miles Lewis-Skelly game.
Yes.
Did we give him man of the match when he didn't have any involvement in any of the goals? I think we did. We got some criticism for that.
And then we gave Gyökeres man of the match when he didn't score in the following game, which was maybe Madrid.
No pleasing some people.
No, fine.
But guys, have you got anything else to close on, or anything to regale from the last 24 hours? This time, 24 hours ago, I was walking from Finsbury Park to the stadium, thinking I didn't, in a month of Sundays, imagine that this would be my Tuesday evening.
I was running around here going, what do I do if they're going to the stadium? Am I doing the controls and everything? Like, how's that going to work? And I'm just sort of shouting at myself. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Norfolk. I've scared the dog because I'm shouting at the TV.
The goats have gone.
The goats have gone. They're out. Oh, it's just, it was wild. And then I just pull out everything that's got a cannon on it and put it on and just start celebrating, thinking, nearest and dearest, those that are here, those that are messaging, those that aren't, and it's just, I love it. It's just such a good time.
Excellent. Right, in that, listen, Arsenal world, enjoy, soak up, be insufferable. My God, have we earned it? I think I'll leave it on that.
It's been emotional.
It has.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Cheerio.
Cheers, guys.
Bye. The North Bank, an Arsenal podcast. Subscribe, rate and review on your app, and find us on your socials at North Bank Pod. Email hello@thenorthbankafc.com and check out our website, thenorthbankafc.com. Produced by the Podcast Company.